muy malo. Roto el pato de vestuario. La interpretación siempre negativa. Siempre negativa. Nunca positiva.
Barcelona were 10 points clear at the top of LaLiga in November. They were 7 points behind the leaders at the start of February. And now, after Monday Night Football's 1-0 win over Rayo Vallecano, they are back on top. But it is tight. They lead Real Madrid on goal difference and Atlético Madrid by a point. And there are still 24 games to go. Welcome to Siempre Positivo. I'm Sam Marsden, joined by a very patched up squad today. Rick Sharma guilty of underestimating the football calendar, booking a romantic midweek trip away and forgetting that their A would be a Champions League playoff round, and B, that Javier Tebas and co had the power to move Barca's game to Monday night. So it's just me and Tony Juan Marti, who's pulled himself from his sickbed to be with us. Tony, I'm going to say K-Tao, but I know it's not good.
Hello, good morning. Yeah, I'm not destroyed, but more or less destroyed. Have been last 24 hours like with big pain, with big headache, fever. Like if like ¿cómo se dice? Como si me hubiera atropellado un camión.
Like you've been run over by a lorry or a truck.
Yeah, so I don't know if it's COVID or what, or it's a flu or. Well, I don't know, but really destroyed at home. But yeah, I watched yesterday's game. In fact, it's true. It's easy because yesterday I called to the newspaper. I said them that I was not going to work. But even if I was not working, I received that the information that Kounde was late again. But you know, I was feeling that bad, that sick, that I didn't want to activate myself, and I just let it go, and then it disappeared in the media, as it happens always. But yesterday I was totally destroyed, and I went directly to bed after the game. So I don't know. I hope I can be fine in 2 days.
Maybe it's. Have you seen you probably haven't seen it. There's a new film called The Substance with Demi Moore. Have you seen it?
Which is the name?
The Substance. I don't know what it's called in Spanish.
La Sustancia. No la he visto, but I've been talked about this, and everybody says this top, yes.
So basically, it's the same person. I'm going to say that you and Tech are the same person, and you're getting ill because Tech's getting younger and stronger, and that's why it's sort of like the contrast is there.
Yeah, that's like Benjamin Button, no?
Kind of an element of that kind of
like,
thing, yeah.
Yeah. No, yeah, I mean, it's fine that Rick is not here, no? When he sees that we have to praise Tech.
Yeah, coincidence. What a coincidence. Before we get on to Tech, Kounde's tardiness, Barça, I just wanted to ask you the question for you, actually, because after Real Madrid and Atlético both dropped points this weekend, Madrid at Osasuna and Atlético at home to Celta, both teams drawing, Barça were handed the chance to go top again on Monday. But before that, I was wondering why Sport have not called me, why you've not asked me to be one of the many experts that there are in the Spanish media now on fuck you and fuck off.
Yeah, exactly. You could have been asked for it, but
I've been sat by my phone and no one's phoned to say, look, I thought I could be an expert. I thought I'd finally found my niche area.
No, but it's funny, yeah, because how many experts have appeared in media in the last 2 days? I remember, for example, a video that I saw from El Chiringuito that they brought an English teacher there, but then she turned to be English teacher from the master of Real Madrid. So she had like some stories supporting Real Madrid. So at the end, it's like, oh, you forgot to delete of all these stories. So it's all a circus. It's all a circus now to say fuck off, fuck you. Pure circus. And to be honest, you can check my timeline in Twitter. I am normally very active, but even me, a person with a lot of energy, I am tired of every week this circus. Fuck you, fuck off. Now the penalties or the disallowed goal in Barça Rayo. Then again we will go back with Vinicius. It's really even for a person, for me, who appreciates the travel, the this kind of debates, energetic debates, even for me it's so boring, to keep talking about this again, and it will never stop,
Yeah, it is really tiring. I don't know if it's got worse or not. I guess it's always been a thing, especially more so in Spain. It's been a little bit of a thing in England this season as well, with Arsenal have been complaining about conspiracies, etc., and referees. But it's been a big thing here all the time. It does feel particularly worse at the moment. I think the Negreira thing, regardless of what went on there, has given sort of other teams ammo and ammunition to take it to another level. Perhaps was sort of like the catalyst for it moving to the level now.
This yes, Sam, but I mean, I don't know why people cannot separate the feelings when it comes to make an analysis, because I think more or less I do it when here in this pod we talk about Barça, sometimes criticizing, saying that we are rushing too much, we are praising too much the team. I mean, one thing is Negreira, but one thing is how can you find some reasons or say that it's not fair? I mean, when you say fuck off or fuck you, I mean, it's obvious, no, that it's a lack of respect, and the problem is that when you have had free card to say whatever you want, because Bellingham also said you are a piece of shit to this referee, and the referees, they talk between them. So
yeah,
for me, it's fine to make debates regarding some actions, no? If you want, for example, well, for me, it doesn't make sense, no, to talk about the disallowed goal of Rayo, because Enteca was disturbing there. But we can talk about some actions, for example, what happened with Vinicius in Mestalla. We can talk about if it's an aggression or not, if he deserves 2 games or 4, if it's too hard, his knock into the face or not. Okay, we can talk about this. But how can we have this kind of stupid debates if it was fair or not, that red card for Bellingham? I mean, if you want, we can change the rule and we can say that lacks of respect are permitted. But as long as the rules are clear, why are we spending more than 1 second analysing if it was or not a red card for Bellingham?
Yeah. No, it's an absolute joke. Just for context, for anyone who has missed this weekend, Bellingham was sent off in Real Madrid's 1-1 draw against Osasuna on Saturday for saying, the referee said he said, fuck you. Bellingham says he said, fuck off, and not to the referee. It's a minor detail in my opinion. As Flick said, they're both disrespectful. They both can be offensive. Even if Bellingham says the fuck off was more in frustration, he'd approached the ref. He was speaking to the ref. He was contesting a decision, which, as Flick says, you shouldn't really do anyway. The only possible argument I can see that Madrid have is depending on the ban, whether the ban should be 2 to 4 games or whether it should be 4 to 12 games. I think it should probably be in the former category, personally. But yeah, like Tony says, Bellingham's been putting himself in that position for weeks, if not months, not just with this referee calling him a piece of shit. The amount of times you see him sort of aggressively swearing at either at officials or himself or whatnot. This is certainly something that's been coming. And he was sent off before for a similar thing at Valencia last season, which he's now, at the time he protested, again, sort of a language issue. And at the time, speaking on Saturday after this Osasuna decision, he says it was probably fair, that one, but this one isn't, and they're gonna contest it. But yeah, it is what it is. It was stupid from Bellingham, and the only possible debate is the context and whether it's a long ban or a short ban. It probably should be a short ban, but look at Lewandowski's ban for touching his nose. Look at Flick's 2-game touchline ban this season for contesting a decision with the referee without even using expletives. So
no, but this yes, for example, I would accept to discuss about it. And in my opinion, to say fuck off, it's not for 2 games banned, because at the end you have to go in favor of the show and the quality of this. And for me, 2 games would be too much for saying just fuck off or fuck you when you are hot and with your pulsaciones, ¿cómo es?
It's when your heartbeat's up, or
yeah, when you are really like excited or nervous, what happens in the pitch, it's not that incredible that you can say fuck you, fuck off. For me, it's clear it's red card, but 1 game would be enough in my opinion.
Yeah, shouldn't be a long ban. No, shouldn't be a long ban.
But the problem is that we it's all going farther than debate about analyzing actions, with Madrid saying there is corruption, trying to do all what they do in the official TV and all these things, it's so boring. It's so boring, this, and it should stop. It should stop at some point, because my question is if at the end people will be bored of this, no, and you will end up losing supporters or fans in this business called football.
I think it is damaging the product, yeah, in several ways. Back to Barça, Rayo, Monday Night Football at the Olympic Stadium. Not Barca's best performance, but what some may call a sign of champions, getting the job done when not at your very best, against a team that was unbeaten in 9 league games coming into this match and deserved credit for how they played as well in the game on Monday. Lewandowski's penalty given for a path assist pull on Inigo Martinez in the box at a corner was the difference between the two teams. Barca could have scored more. The front three had an off night. Rafinha perhaps guilty of missing the best chances. Lamine Yamal also missed some. Lewandowski's touch was off. But Pedri excelled in midfield, and the defence, with the help of Tech Chesney, got the clean sheet. As Tony mentioned, the game was not without some controversy. Rayo wanted a penalty for Hector Fort's shirt pull on Moomin in the box. That was actually an incident which happened before the Barca penalty, and they then had a goal ruled out after the Barca penalty just before half-time. Randy and Teka coming from an offside position to block Inigo Martinez, as he would have perhaps got across to De Frutos to defend the shot which beat Chesney. But Tony digging out home wins. Alaves 1-0, Rayo Vallecano 1-0. These wins are more important than the 7-1s at home to Valencia, aren't they?
These wins are 2 billion times more important if you want to be champion at the end of the LaLiga, because we all know that when you have an easy game or in a good context, it's easy to win and to have fun in the pitch and scoring and celebrating and dancing and blah blah and blah blah. But football is about giving at the end an extra when it's about winning, playing well, but especially winning, playing better. I'm not saying Barca played bad, but winning in good nights does not make the difference, because everybody will win in good nights, but everybody will have difficult nights, and is the performance, the Reddit that you get from there, what will make the difference. And Barca, for me yesterday, I'm not really happy with what we saw, to be honest. I don't want to analyze the result, never. For me, Rayo had too many chances in terms of danger. And I go back again to the same. With this style, when you play against someone with higher quality, that could be a suicide. Because I want to say it now, because if I say it in May, but you are saying it now that Barca lost. No, I want to make it clear. February 18, I have big doubts on whether this style will save you when you go in all or nothing nights in Europe. But let's see. Okay, for the moment, the bigger quality of your squad was able to beat Rayo. Chesney was brilliant. Pedri amazing. I think that at some point during the season, there are some games, especially yesterday after all what happened with Madrid and Atlético, that the most important things is only to get the 3 points. And Barca made it. It's also important to learn how to suffer. Barca has learned how to suffer. And now, for sure, you are back on top, and it's different because you have, again, the pressure is in you. Last week, the pressure was in Madrid. So, let's see.
It's a bit like, I think it was someone on the Discord mentioned, Gerald Romero said it, and we're not discovering the wheel here. It's something that we've known about for years in terms of what is judged and how things are judged in Barcelona and Madrid. But if Madrid come from, and I know Barca chucked away a lead earlier in the season, but if they come from X points behind and then win a narrow game 1-0 at home, everyone's talking about what a machine they've been, how they've sort of dug out a 1-0 win to go back to the top, and it's looking ominous, etc. And I think sometimes Barca fans miss that little bit of joy if the performance doesn't match.
100%. We always say that's autodestructivo, no? Self-destructive es la palabra, o...
Yeah, self-destructive, yeah.
It's a self-destructive club for sure, but what you cannot accept is to win all the games 1-0 and suffering. But Barca has not done this. Has scored 5 or more goals in at least 13 or 14 games this season. So the people is having fun. But sometimes, yes, you need to protect in key games or to learn to suffer. And yesterday was an example of this. It was so important. And right now, you still have one clean week. And as I said on the last pod, if you are able to win against Las Palmas away, it's not going to be easy. It's going to be the last clean week. Then you start playing again 3 times per week. Well, 2 times per week. Then Barca will have it again on his hands because you will have to play a lot of games in your home. I think 8 out the last 13 games are in Montjuic. So very important to do the homework against Las Palmas to confirm that you are again the favorite. And I accept that for me, it was totally unpredictable, this situation. For me, it was impossible to see Madrid dropping that amount of points in only 3 weeks. I accepted that it has been totally surprise for me.
Yeah, obviously the Espanyol one was the unexpected one. Had an eye on obviously the Atletico Madrid derby and also Osasuna away just because it became in between those 2 Manchester City games. But yeah, for them to drop so many points in those 3 games.
At the end, when Barca fans ask to themselves, how can I say this? What was the difference of us being second and Madrid having to play the play-in? If then later they also win, they always win, and they are at the same point than us. Some people can think, okay, it's true. But what people forget is that is this double tie against Man City what has given Barca this chance in Liga.
Yeah.
The Reddit of this has not been in Champions League because Madrid did the homework and they will be there. But the receipt, the invoice for all what happened in Champions for Madrid is what happened in Liga.
Yeah, and also just the extra sort of exertion they had to put into their final games when, even though Barca did put out strong teams in the Champions League, they could still slightly sort of ease up in that last game against Atlanta, etc. And Madrid was still trying to win their final few games. Tony, you mentioned another point at the start of the podcast just on Jules Kounde. He was dropped for, I don't know if it was the second or third time this season, definitely the second time, possibly the third time, I think just the second time, for being late. Third time. For a pre-game meeting. Here's what Hansi Flick had to say about leaving the Frenchman out the side.
Third time, Sam, third time.
Wow, this is, I said it before, and I think it's in a match day. Okay, you have for me before the match. Everyone as a player, when you're on the pitch, you know what to do. Okay, this is, and before we have maybe 2-3 appointment for the players meetings, and this is very important that the players are there, and I think it's not very difficult to do this. Okay, and this is it's not only about me, it's also about the players, it's also about the club, about the fans. This is what I say now, but I don't want to say more because I want to speak with him. But you're right, he was too late. But it's a clear rule, so he cannot start, and this is what happens today.
Well, Flick explained this. For me, it's a big lack of respect. I cannot understand how can this happen 3 times.
I guess you would presume it wouldn't happen in like a Clasico or before a big Champions League game. But do you think Flick would follow through if Pedri, for whatever reason, out of his control, was late for a pre-Clasico meeting?
Yeah, no sé.
It's not because it's not just Kounde. Flick has been consistent so far. I think you said to me before, Iñaki Peña in the Supercopa, there was an incident with Lamine Yamal, and was there one other player as well? He's left out once.
Casadó also at the beginning of the season. Lamine Yamal also, who was in the bench against Osasuna, is also the third time of Kounde. I mean, the first time that it happened, I released it, but other times it has also happened, and we didn't say nothing because. To try to avoid troubles with sources in the dressing room. But yes, they know the rules, they know how it is, and my opinion is that some people can think that that's stupid, but you as a coach, once you say this is the rule, you cannot break it. I mean, you cannot break it. You have to punish the player if he is late. Otherwise, you are lost and they will see that there are no consequences. So, what maybe Hansi Flick didn't expect is that there would be this amount of people being late. But this is what it is. I cannot understand. I can understand one time. Sorry. But 3 times in the same season? I think that the club is very worried and they will speak with Jules Kounde to analyze this situation and try to find a solution, no? Because, for example, I'm a person who is always late, no? But when you know that this is so clear and you're a professional and you don't have nothing else to do, as Kounde does, for me it's very difficult to understand how can you be late 3 times in one season.
It's kind of contradictory as well, because Kounde is obviously in many other aspects of his game in terms of training and professionalism, very, very professional. And then he just has this little quirk with... I mean, I'm not very good with times either. I'm quite late. But yeah, if I was dropped for a game, I probably wouldn't be late a second time and then a third time. I probably would be someone who would be dropped at least once, and then you buck your ideas up, don't you?
Sí, por eso, no sé, it's very strange, the situation. But well, at the end, Hansi Flick is like magic, because imagine that you play yesterday Hector Ford, he makes a mistake, he concedes a goal, and then you are not in the top of the league. You know what would be saying right now? I can tell you as if it was true, that it cannot be that these kind of things punish the team because one thing is being late, but the other thing is creating damage to the performance of the team, blah, 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 blah. But this guy is that lucky that he played with Hector Ford and still Barça made a clean sheet. Hector Ford played quite decent. And the same with Chesney, who is now brilliant. The same with Frenkie de Jong, who is now a starter. So, Magic Flick, we should say, instead of Hansi Flick. Magic Flick.
One other thing Flick's decided in recent weeks is to give more playing time to Frenkie de Jong. Frenkie de Jong's now started 4 of Barca's last 5 games in all competitions. Marc Casadó started just 1 of them, and the one he did start was at home to Alaves when he came off at half-time. I'm just going to get to a question from Patreon's Skyscaper Brad, because we obviously had the Q&A last week, which is out on Patreon now. And this question is quite sort of relevant now, and maybe it won't be so relevant next week. He just wonders, what's changed with Casadó that he's lost his place in the starting 11? Surely it's not just Frenkie, is it? Is there something else at play here, Tony, or do you think it's just Flick's... I don't think Flick's necessarily decided that Frenkie is his first choice, and we've spoken on podcasts where we think he probably would be, but I think it's more he wants to give him this run of games as much as anything. I don't know if anything else has changed with Casadó, though.
Yeah, in my opinion, nothing has changed. There is nothing wrong with Casadó. I think I agree with you that he wants Frenkie to be 100% before the K part of the season, and I don't rule out at all that in some K games, even if Frenkie keeps performing, is Casadó the one who is a starter? I don't rule out, but yeah, he needs Frenkie to play with rhythm and to have rhythm, and he's getting it. So right now, Casadó has to keep working, but I don't think something extra sportive happened between them or something like this. I don't think it's the case. If it's the case, I didn't receive the information. And if it's the case, I think it would have been leaked in a city where everything comes out.
Just to finish then, we do have from Budapest, Rick's ratings.
Hello from a very cold Budapest. It was -6 degrees last night. Been eating chimney cakes purely to keep warm here. I did see the game on Monday, but unfortunately I can't join the pod today, so I'm just going to chip in from distance with the ratings, starting as ever with Tech in goal. 8 out of 10. Gets better with every game, as we said on the last pod, and he made a good save from Nteka and very bravely got down to get to the rebound first. It was another very solid performance from him. Hector Fort, 5. I think he was Barca's worst player on the night. Unfortunate for him, as he's obviously not had a lot of minutes, so he came in kind of cold into the game because Jules Kounde was late. And I mean, you can respect to some extent Flick making this choice to maintain standards in the squad, but you have to wonder sometimes if is he shooting himself in the foot by doing it? I mean, maybe he would argue no, and that overall over the course of the season it makes more sense to sort of keep the players living the way or living up to the sort of standards he wants to set, and maybe that's better for Barca in the long term than just thinking, well, obviously Kounde's better than Hector Fort, so I can't drop Kounde because he's late and for a game against Rayo, who are in good form. So he went with his stance, and I guess it paid off overall. Barca did win the game and kept a clean sheet, but Fort was a problem, and Rayo got in quite a few times down Barca's right-hand side. Pau Cubarsí 6, Inigo Martinez 7.5. Thought Inigo was very sharp in this one, had a good performance. Possibly a little lucky with the offside goal that was ruled out for Rayo. I mean, Enteca was offside and did get in Inigo's way, so you can understand why it was ruled out. But I mean, I'm not 100% sure Inigo would have got there to stop Rayo from scoring that goal if he wasn't blocked. Alejandro Balde 6.5, Frenkie 6, Gavi 6, Pedri man of the match for me. He's just in great form at the moment. Pedri 9 out of 10. He's a bit like, reminds me of like a little bit like a remote control car, Pedri, when he's dribbling. You just don't know where he's going to go. I think he's incorporated that into his game in the last sort of few months. I don't remember him being like this before, where he can just sort of turn his body shape and move in a different direction than you expect. It's amazing to see. Lamine, Rafinha, Lewandowski, the attack wasn't at their sharpest, wasn't at their best in this one. I've given them 6 across the board, which maybe you could say is a little bit generous considering by their own standards this was a poor performance. But Lewandowski scored the penalty. Lamine and Rafinha had flashes. There was a great cross from Lamine for Rafinha, which was saved in the end, that header. I think that they played within themselves in this one. But it was not the easiest game against the Rayo, who have been in very good form. Off the bench, Kounde 6.5, Olmo 7, Eric 7. They were bright off the bench. No rating for Ferran, as he didn't come on early enough, I think, but he wasn't very good. And that's all from me.
Thank you, Rick. That's all we've got time for this week. Just a reminder that over on the Patreon, we've got a bumper Q&A out from last week, which was very fun to record. And coming out later this week on Thursday, we will have the left-back episode as we continue to build our dream Barca side of the last 35 years. We started with the goalkeeper position. We've done the centre-backs. And on Thursday, we'll drop the left-back edition. Tony, something to add before we wrap this up?
Well, that maybe you forgot. But in case you forgot, I'm here to tell you some cold stats. 10 games, Wojtek Szczesny with Barca. 9 wins, 1 draw, 50% of clean sheet. I don't see where these rats talking about Iñaki Peña are in Twitter. Where are they? Hello? Ooh, little rats. Where are you? Where are you? No, unfair decision, Wojtek, smoking, drinking, not being good with tackles or going out of the box, blah, 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 blah. 10 games, 50% of clean sheets, and amazing performance against Rayo Vallecano. Fair to mention it.
Yeah, it was probably possibly one of his, if not his best performance, certainly one of his best performances. The saves, but also the reactions after the saves a couple of times to smother the ball afterwards. I think very little you could fault him with. I think there was perhaps one or two times when I thought he could have been a bit quicker to come out, when one towards the end when Eric Garcia had to clean up, I thought maybe he could come out. But yeah, in general, would you say it was his best performance?
For sure, yes.
For sure, yeah.
But don't worry, we are not angry for those who had doubts regarding tech. This is like the house of God for those that are Catholics, like church. The doors are open. The doors are open to get in our boat. You can always come. You can leave the cave. You can come. You will be welcome. Because in tech's world, everything is amazing.
Stay positive, stay tech.